Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. So far in 2018, HBO boxing being dominated by Showtime boxing. Stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now I had to make this video because I almost didn't believe it, and I want to share it with the YouTube audience. I'm shook. Somebody on Instagram DM'd me, and they sent me a casual boxing fan's comment. The comment, and I showed you guys on the live stream, but in case you didn't catch the whole 2-hour plus live stream, I wanted to make this video. The casual said, man, Showtime. He left this on Showtime Boxing's Instagram. It says, man, Showtime, that's why HBO has and always will reign supreme. Y'all put out garbage people on the air. And Showtime Boxing, you see the little blue check mark on their verified Instagram where the comment was left, they replied to dude. And it says, must also be why they have 3 fights on their schedule, right? So someone sent me this in their DM and they were laughing. They said it was pretty funny. And at the time, I didn't really think much of it. But afterwards, after reading this DM, I went to HBO Boxing's official website. And sure as shit, HBO Boxing has 3 fight cards scheduled on the books, which is crazy because first of all, this year's going by fast. This is my birthday month. Shout out to all the Aries. It's the 3rd month of the year, and Showtime already had that Showtime Boxing Up Front event where they had in New York. They invited me, but I didn't want to travel to New York just for that one day. But anyway, they had everybody from the Charlo brothers to Errol Spence to Broner, Omar Figueroa to Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, and Leo Santa Cruz, Abner. They had all these PBC fighters, Al Heyman umbrella fighters, and they were announcing officially these great matchups: Edeslani Lara, Jared Swift Hurd, etc. And to see HBO Boxing has 3 fight cards that have already been signed, sealed, and delivered, and we know about in the 3rd month, that is pretty alarming considering HBO has had some great programming, and for a while they've been the leader in premium boxing. But it looks like what a difference a couple years make. Showtime had another good year last year, put on a lot of fights. So the HBO boxing card, 1 fight card is this weekend. It's Sergey Kovalev versus Igor Mikhelkin, which in my opinion, the main event is a lesser fight than the co-main event. Don't really know much about Igor Mikhelkin. He has a loss, so I think I would favor Kovalev based on the very little that I've seen of Igor Mikhelkin, just some YouTube videos. The co-main event is a very good fight. It's Dimitri Bivol versus Sullivan Barrera. Good fight for boxing fans, but definitely like not a blockbuster fight in terms of names, but nonetheless a good fight for the division. It'll show us where Bivol is, and it'll show us where Sullivan Barrera is at. I have no problem with the fight. Then on April, all the way in April, so we went from March 3rd to April 28th, and that's my dude Daniel Jacobs versus Maj Solecki. Also on that card, Gerald Big Baby Miller versus Johan Duhaupas. You know what I mean? Not bad fights. If you guys know your boxing, at middleweight, Solecki knocked out Hugo Centeno Jr., who is undefeated. Well, Solecki's undefeated, and Hugo Centeno Jr. on Showtime is fighting against Jamal Charlo. So, not big names. Daniel Jacobs and Gerald Big Baby Miller are a big name. Their opponents don't really have big names, but still not a bad card. You know what I mean? It's a solid card, non-championship fight, right? And then there's no other fight till May 5th, Cinco de Mayo weekend, which is the Canelo versus Triple G rematch. Definitely much anticipated, but this is on HBO pay-per-view. Now, this is pretty alarming because, like I said, HBO Boxing is known And to me, the Floyd Mayweather curse is real. Ever since Floyd Mayweather left HBO boxing, it's been a slow and plodding downward spiral. For them to only have 3 announced fight cards, maybe they pick it up, maybe they don't. But this kind of happened last year. I remember when Showtime announced Broner versus Garcia, Mikey Garcia, and a couple other fights, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. You never heard a real response from HBO boxing. And Showtime made this announcement with all these fights you should see on screen. Some of them have already happened, but the other ones start this weekend. Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. The Charlo Hugo Centeno Jr. fight is no longer on this card. It has been postponed to April 21st, if I'm not mistaken. But you still have Andre Dirrell versus Jose Uzcategui, a rematch, a controversial rematch. That's the fight where Dirrell's uncle punched the dude because dude punched Dirrell after the bell, and it led to a disqualification win for Dirrell, right? Then March 10th, return of Mikey Garcia, undefeated, technical fighter. He's trying to join the ranks of Juan Manuel Marquez and guys like Manny Pacquiao who have covered certain divisions. And this is his 4th division, where if he beats Sergey Lipinets, he'll win a title. Also on that card, Rances Bartholomew versus Kirill Relic 2, which is a rematch. The first fight was a good action fight, back and forth. They're going to settle the score. April 7th, Edislani Lara versus Jared Swift Hurd, which is a very good fight at 154. Outside of Jermell Charlo, I mean, these are the top guys. You know what I mean? Edislani Lara and Jared Swift Hurd and Jermell Charlo. You know what I mean? Those are the top guys in the division, really. So that should be a really good main event. April 21st, Adrian Broner versus Omar Figueroa. Say what you want about Broner, but he's exciting. He puts on exciting fights. Same thing with Omar Figueroa. Not the most technical guy, but got a chin, tough, and he comes to fight, volume puncher. You also have the return of Gervonta Tank Davis. I don't think it's been official, but I heard he's going to fight Jesus Cuellar. And the Jamal Charlo Hugo Centeno Jr. rescheduled fight, to my knowledge, is going to be on this card, right? So that's an action-packed April 21st. Then May 19th, you have Keith One-Time Thurman returning off of getting married, having a surgery on his elbow. He's going to fight an undisclosed opponent, TBA opponent. We'll figure out who it is. That same night in Canada, you have a light heavyweight fight for the WBC belt, I believe. Adonis Stevenson versus Badu Jack, which is a very good light heavyweight fight. June 9th, Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Mares 2. It's happening in LA, I believe at the Staples Center again. Great crowd. There's a obviously LA has a dense Mexican population. The main event has 2 Mexican-American fighters who both reside in SoCal, so it should be lit. And then also on that card, Jermell Charlo returns against somebody. June 16th, Errol Spence Jr. has a hometown Dallas fight. He should be facing his IBF mandatory, and that's Carlos Ocampo, right? Not to mention, Showtime also secured Anthony Joshua's fight versus the WBO champion, Joseph Parker. That is a thing. That'll be on the Showtime network later in March 31st, if I'm not mistaken. Also on that card is Dillian White versus Lucas Brown. So if you're in the UK, it'll be on Sky Sports, but if you live in the States like myself, it'll be on Showtime. Not to mention Clarissa Shields is coming back. Not to mention Regis Prograis has a fight for a belt, and that's going to be against Julius Ndongo at 140. So, I mean, it's getting crazy, and this is why the channel keeps growing. People don't know how to forecast and see what's coming. You know what I mean? There's a lot of channels, and I told you, don't mention any channel to me unless they're doing better than me. You know what I mean? So what I mean by that is if they're dissing me and they constantly disagree with me, unless they have more subscribers than me and they're doing better numbers than me, then I don't really want to hear about them dissing me, because it shows who's biased. I have no problem with Showtime, no problem with ESPN, no problem with HBO Boxing. However, with my audience, I call it like I see. And I've seen a changing of the guard. It's not going to happen overnight, but slowly but surely, Showtime is taking the play away from HBO Boxing. And they're not really responding. So I don't know if they have one foot out, one foot in. I don't know. I mean, to me, I really feel that HBO Sports, or whatever you want to call it, they need to revamp. Maybe work on their commentary team, possibly. I think that would be a good start, because there's a lot of bias when it comes to the commentary. Usually the best commentators are fighters or former fighters, like Roy Jones Jr. is my dude, Andre Ward. They do good commentary. Some of the other guys are hit or miss, right? So that would be a start. But they got to make better executive decisions. Like, there's no way you'll be successful in the long run if you're not competitive with your competition. I mean, that's just what it is. If you can't find a way to become competitive, you'll become extinct, right? That's it. You look at Blockbuster, and I told you this on the live stream. Blockbuster had the chance to acquire Netflix when they were a mail order DVD company, right? They had to pitch this idea. Blockbuster was like, no, we got a brick and mortar store. Why would we do that? They couldn't agree on the price, whatever. And they opted out. But see, the thing with Netflix is they started off as this mail order DVD, made it convenient for customers. And then with the boom of online streaming, when that came about, they were the first to really integrate that and have a Netflix catalog of movies that they store in the cloud and whatnot. And you could watch it from the privacy of your home or on your Xbox One or PlayStation 3 or 4 or whatever was out at the time. You know what I mean? And they end up, in the long run, doing better than Blockbuster. And the Blockbusters, I don't think there are any of them open anymore. They're closed. So you got to be competitive. And what I'm seeing from HBO, I don't think HBO as a network will shut down. But to me, they got to do something and step on the gas to be competitive, because one other major hit outside of Showtime and what they're doing is Bob Arum, Top Rank, taking all their fighters and their best fighters. And Top Rank has a lot of talent, from Oscar Valdez to Vasily Lomachenko to Terrence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, Mick Connellan, Gilberto Zuro Ramirez, right? They have all these guys that they're working on building. Gabe Flores Jr., right? And they're going to be fighting on ESPN. Pacquiao's protege, or whatever you want to call him, Jerwin and Casas, Manny Pacquiao himself, right? So ESPN, on free TV, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, putting on fights. Crawford versus Jeff Horn, right? Also fights with Jose Ramirez and Amir Imam, you know what I mean? Artur Beterbiev, I heard, just signed with Top Rank, stuff like that. And it's like HBO, they made a fatal mistake, because, and this is my opinion, they started catering too much to the really casuals. You know what I mean? They weren't really celebrating their American fighters and the American talent, to the point where Andre Ward, he did what he had to do with Kovalev, and then he works with the network still, but he retired as a fighter. You know what I mean? And the only way to lure him back is probably to toss a bag at him, a lot of money. Floyd Mayweather was always disrespected on the network, so he left and went to Showtime. And now, like I said, that was the Mayweather curse, the beginning of the end for HBO. And Tim Bradley, people like that, retired. And then Bob Arum took fighters like Pacquiao and the rest of the Top Rank good fighters like Lomachenko and Crawford. And now, fast forward to the future, they have 3 scheduled fights in the first half that we know about, unless Golden Boy or something produce it. And you got to keep in mind, Golden Boy also has some fights that are going to be not on HBO, like probably ESPN, Fox or something like that. Not televised, maybe. You know what I mean? So it's looking very grim for HBO boxing. And my thing is this: there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of channels that say the exact opposite of everything I say. Oh, you're hating this and that. PBC's going broke. Showtime sucked. And they made it a Showtime HBO thing. I made it a true thing. I don't care if HBO's doing good or Showtime's doing good, but I will tell you my honest opinion. And right now, comments like the guy that left this comment on Showtime Boxing, they're looking real crazy, talking about this is why HBO will forever be beating you, basically. And then Showtime Boxing responds and says, must also be why they have 3 fights on their schedule. It's like HBO Boxing is not even in existence. It's like they're not even trying to compete. And it's like, I don't know how they're going to let themselves out of this. David Lemieux looked like shit versus Billy Joe Saunders. So, I mean, he's not really a main event type attraction. They'll probably put him on the Canelo Triple G card, maybe versus Spike O'Sullivan. Billy Joe Saunders is with Frank Warren, so he's not really an HBO fighter, right? Daniel Jacobs is a very good fighter, but he's probably going to be avoided because people know middleweights know the danger and who's going to want to take that for no belt. You know what I mean? Demetrius Andrade has been very inactive. I can't say very inactive, but his career, I guess, has had gaps of inactivity. So it's just like, who's HBO going to really pump now? And it's like, now they're going to have to do it backwards. Whereas before they're trying to promote and boast like a lot of Eastern European fighters, right? And foreign fighters in general, which, you know, it's not a problem, but they disrespected a lot of American fighters. Now the people that they're going to have to rely on are American fighters, like Andre Ward to come back out of retirement, Demetrius Andrade, Daniel Jacobs, Gerald Big Baby Miller. They're going to have to rely on those people. You know what I mean? Like with Chocolatito losing too, I mean, who's he going to fight? Most likely coming off a knockout loss, his opponent will probably be a soft touch. I don't really see them putting him in there with Mick Williams Arroyo, who just beat Carlos Cuadras and already fought Chocolatito and gave him a tough fight. So coming off a knockout loss, are they really going to match him that tough? So it's like now HBO is going to have to finally start banking on some of the American fighters that they, in my opinion, have shunned. Not looking good, man, with 3 fights. And like I said, just keep it real in the comment section. A lot of people, oh, Showtime sucks and it's all about HBO. But as a boxing fan, what are we really getting? I literally have Showtime and HBO just for boxing. I don't watch. I got Netflix, I got Amazon Prime, so I get to watch movies on Amazon Video or whatever. So I literally watch those 2 networks only for boxing. Movies, Tupac, All Eyes on Me movie, I've already seen that. And if it's something I really want, I just buy the Blu-ray or the 4K. You know what I mean? And I'm just wondering what HBO is gonna do. They're gonna have to probably match hard, like Kovalev versus the winner of the co-main event, Bivol versus Sullivan Barrera, right? And I just honestly, from an honest perspective, I think that HBO, they need some new blood maybe in their creative department to create a resurgence, because some of the decisions to me don't make sense. Here's one: the World Boxing Super Series. Most of the fights are taking place overseas, and we've seen some really good fights. The Usyk fight, you had Murat Gassiev versus Dorticos, which was an awesome fight. Chris Eubank Jr. versus George Groves was an awesome fight. And to my knowledge, HBO was pitched the World Boxing Super Series, had an opportunity to purchase these fights, and they opted not to. And I heard they opted not to, but still picked up fights like Lucas Matisse versus Taram Karam or whatever, which turned out to be pretty lame as a fight. And then on that card they had Jorge Linares versus Mercita Hesta. You know what I mean? So why not pick up the World Boxing Super Series? That would be an awesome fight to have on your network. So I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they can hope Tyson Fury comes back and fights on HBO. Klitschko's done. He's retired. So it's like a lot of the HBO guys are either on, they're either departed, like when Al Heyman took his fighters, or they're on ESPN. You know what I mean? I can't think of many, or people like Ward who retired. So HBO, you got to do something, baby. But the fans got to be real in what they see. I need to know what HBO is going to do, like to make sure I should keep HBO. If not, then I can, because you got to look at it. Canelo versus Triple G 2. It don't matter if you have an HBO subscription or not. You still have to buy that fight. That's a pay-per-view event. You know what I mean? So it's not part of the regular HBO package. So you could save yourself $20 a month or whatever it is on your cable package by not having HBO if you only watch it for the sake of boxing. I mean, if you're watching it for Game of Thrones and Ballers and movies and stuff, stand-up comedy special or something, then that's different. So I'm not telling y'all what to do. I'm just telling you what I see. Let me know what you guys think. What can HBO do to stay competitive? Are they on their way out? But again, where are the YouTube channels that say, oh, Showtime sucks and PBC fighters only fight 1 time a year? Okay, HBO's giving us 3 fights in the first half of the year, and some of them aren't even that enthralling. You know what I mean? Listen, HBO has 3 fights scheduled. None of them are really big names until you get to Canelo Triple G, which isn't even on regular HBO. You have to get that pay-per-view or go to the T-Mobile Arena and buy those tickets, rematch price tickets, to go see it live. HBO gotta do something, man. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.